Hello and welcome to VCCircle TV. I'm Pooja Sarkar and we have with us Mr. Pirojsha Godrej, Managing Director and CEO of Godrej Properties Ltd. Hi Pirojsha.
Hi,
welcome to the show. Can you take us through the performance of Godrej Properties Ltd for this year and the quarter that just ended?
Sure. We've had a reasonably good period in the first 9 months of the year. Clearly there are things we wish would have gone better, but if you look at the overall financial performance for the first 3 quarters, our revenues are up about 12%, EBITDA is up about 40% and our net profit by about 30%. I think given the fact that it has been quite a challenging environment, we're reasonably happy with that. We certainly think there's room to do better through launching a wide variety of new projects we're looking at in the coming year. And the recent quarter that we've just completed, the third quarter, has also been reasonably good. Our quarter-on-quarter increase in new sales or bookings was about 30%. We added a new project to our portfolio here in Mumbai, which we're quite excited to launch, and hopefully that'll happen next year. So I think on the whole, things have been reasonably good. But clearly, I think for the sector as a whole, the environment's been quite challenging, and we do see a lot of upside from here, both for us, both for Godrej Properties as well as the sector.
And coming for the real estate sector has been going through some very bad times in the last 2 years or so. How do you see this year performing? Because people are looking up, funds have been coming in, a lot of money has already trickled in the real estate sector from private equity funds. How do you see the sector performing for this year?
Well, I certainly think it'll do better than last year, but that's frankly not saying very much because last year was really quite a poor year for the sector on a variety of fronts. I think though that what it will depend upon really is things that are not directly in the real estate sector, and by that what I mean is things like GDP growth, things like the election and how the outcome there is received, and of course interest rates. I think those are the 3 big unknowns, if you will, about 2014, and depending on the direction of those, I think we might have either a very, very strong recovery or continued weakness or something in between. But I think the election in particular can have a big impact on consumer sentiment.
With regards to Godrej Properties, what are the kind of launches that we're looking at for the coming year, and what are your plans? Are you totally geared up to launch projects?
Well, we're certainly very geared up to launch projects, and we do have a large number of projects that we're looking to launch. Several, particularly here in Mumbai, including in very exciting locations like Chembur, Vikhroli, Panvel, Baikala, and so on. So I think Mumbai forms a large part of our launch plan for 2014. We also, however, have exciting projects in places like Gurgaon, in Pune, in Bangalore. And in terms of new phases of current projects, also in cities like Ahmedabad, Kolkata, and Nagpur. So on the whole, I think our launch pipeline is very excited. Of course, these launches do depend on receiving our regulatory approvals. We're working very hard to make sure that we do receive all of those on time, but that is always a slight risk to project launch timelines.
In terms of million square feet, what would be the run rate that we're expecting for the next year?
We don't give specific guidance on that. On each project, as we are closer to the launch, we do a very detailed analysis of how we view the market, what we think would be the right amount to launch in a first phase, and make the determination based on that. And we prefer, frankly, particularly given the volatility that one sees in the sector, to avoid giving forward-looking guidance on these numbers.
Okay. And in terms of private equity infusion, you have first tied up with APG and you've raised 700 crores from there. You've raised 700 crores collectively. Could you take us through through that venture?
Sure. The platform size now is about 1,000 crores, a little over 1,000 crore. The 700 crore number you mentioned was the first phase of that platform, which we since extended. That's going quite well. We have our 2 first projects already within the platform, which we're working hard on. We hope to launch one of them in the current calendar year and the other one next year. We're of course also looking at completing the investments through the platform, and we have several deals that we're quite optimistic will go through.
How much would you have already invested?
About 30 to 40% of the capital has already been committed.
Okay. And in terms of the money that Godrej Properties Ltd had raised, how much are you looking to give any exits this year, or what are the plans there?
None in the current financial year, or no additional ones in the current financial year. We might have some in the next financial year, but nothing that's finalized as of now.
Okay. Are you also looking to raise any capital for any of your projects that are existing projects or upcoming ones?
Not really. I think we are always open to the right private equity investment in projects, but there's there's nothing where we're actively seeking a private equity investment. The one exception to that could be Godrej BKC, where we'd certainly be open to that. But again, the focus there is primarily on the operational performance of the project.
With coming to Godrej BKC, commercial real estate has not been doing well in India of late, and especially with BKC, rentals have been going down and people have not been able to sell, but you have been an outlier. You've sold a substantial amount of that project. How and what has been the strategy, and what is happening with the project?
Well, I think the project has a lot of benefits and a lot of things going for it. First of all, it's located in Bandra Kurla complex, which I think has established itself now as the most desirable commercial location in Mumbai, and probably therefore in India. So I think that's one big advantage. I think our customers are generally comfortable with the developer like ourselves of coming into a project at an early stage. They have a high level of confidence that the project delivery will happen on schedule. And we do think we're offering a project that is differentiated from a quality perspective. So for example, our design partners on the project are SOM, who've done world-renowned structures like the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, which is now the tallest building in the world, the One World Trade Center in New York, and many other such structures. In the third quarter, we just received a LEED Platinum pre-certification for the project. That's the highest rating for sustainable design available for any buildings in the world. And we believe that we're the first building in BKC to achieve this recognition. And the location even within BKC is a very attractive one. So I think all of these factors have led to this being a very desirable project. And as you rightly mentioned, we have completed about sales for about a quarter of the space in the building. And of course, our partner Jet Airways is going to take another large chunk of space in the building. So I think, and the construction is going actually ahead of schedule. So I think things are moving broadly online. That said, we do have more capital employed in that project than is desirable. So we will have to focus on maintaining that momentum. But I think so far, so good since the launch of that project last March.
And when do you see the project completing? And
I think it will be another 2 years or so till the project completes.
Any other big ticket projects that you're looking to launch this year, or? Well,
that was already launched, of course, last year. We do, as I mentioned, have several big ticket launches this year, including our projects in Chembur, our township in Panvel, our Vikhroli residential space, our redevelopment project in Baikala. So all of these are quite significant launches for us.
Godrej Properties is said to be the highest contributor towards Godrej Industries' profit. So how do you see how do you see that? What are your plans for the next 5 years?
Well, I think Godrej Properties is one of the big contributors to Godrej Industries' growth, but I think we should keep in mind that Godrej Industries does have a lot of very valuable investments, all of which are doing quite well. It owns a substantial stake in Godrej Consumer Products, which has had an outstanding performance for the last few years. It owns a majority stake in Godrej Agrovet, our agri business, which again has done fantastically well over the last few years. It also has other investments, including a chemicals business, a Nature's Basket, our high-end retail business. So we do have in Godrej Industries a large number of businesses that are all doing quite well. But certainly Godrej Properties is an important piece of the puzzle for Godrej Industries, and we certainly will try to do our bit to ensure rapid growth, which will in turn benefit, of course, Godrej Industries. But I think the key deliverables to ensure we achieve that is launching these new projects, getting the approvals on time, and scaling up our execution as we think we can and hope to do through these new project launches, which is really the prime driver of growth for the business.
Thank you so much, Pirojsha, for your time. This is Mr. Pirojsha Godrej from Godrej Properties Ltd. Thank you.